Hey everyone, I need to talk to you about something that I don't hear a lot of people say out loud. What do you do when God closes a door, but you still think about what was on the other side of it? Like, you know, He closed that door. You know, it wasn't just some random thing that He did. You know, it wasn't you being dramatic or that it wasn't just a bad mood. It was God. And yet, you still miss it. You think, you still think about them. You still replay conversations. You still look in that direction sometimes. And you feel a little crazy for it, if I'm being honest. There's someone who used to be in my life who literally lives right down the street from me. And when I say right down the street, I mean, I could literally walk there in less than a minute. But God closed that door very clearly. It wasn't messy. It wasn't anything explosive. It just closed. And honestly, for the most part, he's protected me from even seeing this girl. Our schedules don't cross. I don't randomly run into her. It's almost like there's been this quiet buffer. But sometimes I'll look down that street and think, I wonder what she's doing. I wonder how she's doing. And I have to be honest, I miss that connection. I miss that friendship. And that's the part that no one talks about. You can know God closed something and still grieve it. And it's the same with my church. I was there for years. I knew everyone, and they knew me. There was history, there was comfort. And sometimes the thought crosses my mind, maybe I should just visit. Maybe I should just stop by one Sunday. But every time I pray about it, it's just no. It's not anything angry or dramatic, just no. And I've had to sit with that because I don't think I miss the building. I miss what I was used to. I miss what felt comfortable. And that's when I started asking myself a harder question. Do I miss them? Or do I miss the version of myself that existed in that season? Because when God shifts you into a new season, it's not just the people that change. You change. Your calling stretches, your perspective shifts, your capacity expands. And not everyone is meant to go there with you. That doesn't make them bad, not at all. It just makes the season different. Here's what I've realized: what we're used to feels safer than faith or something new. Even if it wasn't perfect, even if it had cracks in it, even if God said it was done, it was known. And walking into something new, especially when it's quiet, it feels vulnerable. Because right now, this season for me, it's quiet, very quiet. God has always spoken to me through dreams, always, like ever since I was a little girl. But I've never been great at interpreting them myself. I've always had people in my life who had that gift. So I would go to them and say, what do you think this means? I would tell them the dream and ask them what they think that it means. And they would help me to process it. But now, God has removed that crutch. Not in a cruel way, but intentionally, I think. And I feel him saying, come to me first. And I'm still learning how to do that. I'm still listening. still sitting with it, still asking Him to show me. And if I'm honest, sometimes I feel like I'm not doing it right. Sometimes it's so quiet, I wonder if I missed Him. Sometimes I think, am I growing or am I just alone? But here's the thing I'm slowly understanding: missing something doesn't mean you're meant to go back to it. Feelings are real, very real, but they aren't instructions. You can miss a friend and still know the season ended. You can miss a church and still know you're not supposed to return. You can miss being interpreted for and still know God wants you to lean in closer yourself. Closed doesn't mean it didn't matter. Closed doesn't mean it wasn't real. Closed just means it served its purpose. I think we sometimes romanticize what God released. We remember the laughter, we remember the comfort in those seasons. We forget the subtle tensions, the misalignment, the reasons we were praying for change in the first place. Our minds highlight the good and blur out the struggle. And when we think, maybe I overreacted, did I overreact? But then deep down, you know you didn't. You prayed, you wrestled, you waited, and then God closed it. I've also realized something else. Sometimes God removes voices so you can learn to hear His voice. If I constantly run back to other people to interpret my dreams, to confirm what I'm hearing, to validate what I'm sensing, I never actually learned to trust His voice myself. And that's uncomfortable because what if I get it wrong? What if I misunderstand? What if I step out and it wasn't Him? But I think this season isn't about perfection. It's about intimacy. He's not asking me to get flawless. He's asking me to come closer. And closeness sometimes feels like isolation before it feels like clarity. There's a difference between isolation and alignment. Isolation feels like abandonment. Alignment feels like narrowing. And narrowing can look lonely. When your circle gets smaller, when your support shifts, when the voices get quieter, it can feel like you lost something. But maybe you were just being positioned. I don't think it's wrong that I still look down that street sometimes. I don't think it's wrong that I occasionally miss my church family. I don't think it's wrong that I wish interpreting dreams felt easier to me. I think it just means that I'm human. Grief and obedience can coexist. You can obey God and still feel the ache of what it costs. That doesn't mean you're disqualified. It means you're growing. If you're in a season like this, where doors have closed, where people aren't walking with you anymore, where it's quieter than you expected, and you keep thinking about going back, just ask yourself this gently: do I want them or do I want the comfort they represent? Am I missing alignment or am I missing what felt normal? Because what you're used to will always try to pull you back. But calling will always pull you forward. And forward rarely feels as stable in the beginning. I'm still learning this. I'm still walking this out. Some days I feel strong, and some days I just feel unsure. Some days I hear him clearly, and then other days it just feels like silence. But I know this: if God closed it, reopening it won't bring peace. It might bring temporary comfort, but not peace. And I would rather sit in quiet obedience than go back to what feels comfortable, even if it's hard, even if I still miss it sometimes. So if you've been thinking about them, if you've been tempted to revisit that place, if you've been wondering if maybe you imagined the whole thing, you probably didn't. You're just human. Missing something doesn't mean you're meant to go back there. It just means it mattered. And seasons can matter deeply without being permanent. I don't have a clean bow to put on this because I'm still in this. I'm still listening, still learning how to hear him without all the extra voices. Still choosing to go forward, even when going backwards feels easier. But I trust this: if he closed the door, he has something ahead that requires it to stay closed. And I don't want to delay what's up ahead just because I'm missing what's behind. If this resonated with you, just know you're not crazy. You're growing, and that's a good thing. And growth is quieter than we expect.